Well, we meet again for another special edition of PFTPM because another coaching vacancy has been filled. The vacancy in Atlanta, not filled by the person that many regarded over this past weekend as the front runner for the job. Bill Belichick, no job for him in Atlanta. We'll talk about him in a second. For now, let's talk about the guy who got the job. And if I recall correctly, and there's a chance I don't, on one of the playoff editions of Football Night in America during the Super Wild Card round, we mentioned the possibility of Raheem Morris landing in Atlanta, that there was a thought that it could happen. He had been there for several years as a coordinator, as an assistant coach. He was actually the interim coach to wrap up the 2020 season. They didn't hire him in 2021. They went with Arthur Smith. And now, 3 years after Raheem leaves the organization, he returns as the head coach. This is a great story when you think about it. He became the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 15 years ago, and he was 32 years old. That was the big surprise move when John Gruden out, Bruce Allen out, Raheem Morris in. The GM, whose name currently escapes me, I can see him, I can hear him. I'm having a hard time remembering his name. I'll think of it probably as soon as we're done. He was in as well. God, it's going to drive me crazy. Regardless, Raheem Morris was the head coach at age 32. He had the job for 3 years. He then was fired and replaced by Greg Schiano. And then after that, look at the experience he's gotten. I'm looking at his bio here. He, after leaving Tampa Bay, ended up with Washington for 3 years as a defensive backs coach, another head coach from that incredible staff that has spawned 4 or 5 head coaches as of right now. 2015 through 2019, he was assistant head coach and passing game coordinator for the Falcons. So he flipped over to offense in Atlanta, working at first with Kyle Shanahan under Dan Quinn, and then staying after Shanahan left for San Francisco. And finally in 2020, going back to defense, working as coordinator that year. And then becoming the interim head coach, went to the Rams, obviously, in 2021, won the Super Bowl there, did a great job this past year with an overmatched defense, a young defense. Other than Aaron Donald, there were a lot of guys that nobody really knew who they were. Now they do. And now we know that Raheem Morris getting his second shot at age 47, 15 years after he got his first chance, 12 years after he was fired, he's back. It's a great story of persistence and resilience. And a smart move by the Falcons. A chance to get the most of a guy who is widely respected, who has experience on both sides of the ball, and now who can come in and be much better prepared the second time around than he was the first time around. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does as head coach of the Falcons. Obviously, they need to find a quarterback. They need an answer at quarterback. It doesn't seem to be Taylor Heineke or Desmond Ridder. We'll see where they go from here. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.